All right. Hey, y'all. We are here tonight.
So, what's up, people?
Check your local listings. Live with the Longs is live tonight.
Mm. Oh, see it.
There it is.
There you go.
All right, family.
What up, people?
We are live here tonight. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Whew, and y'all know y'all laughed and we had a good time last time. I don't know if y'all gonna be laughing like y'all did tonight. I think this is a more serious subject matter, subject issue, or however you would classify it, but I know that it's definitely serious. Y'all excuse us. I guess we sharing and all that
Sharing.
stuff.
Share tag like you, right?
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
We are live. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. All those wonderful places. I forgot to do one thing. Let somebody know. Do me a favor.
Share
Do us
tag.
a favor. Share, tag, invite. Let somebody know that the conversation has started. The conversation has started. We are here. I'm going to let Miss Fran start this off. Being that she's the one. Now, I'm not going to say that she didn't do anything wrong. I'm waiting on her to look up at the camera, but
I'm still sharing.
I'm not going to say that she
Sharing is caring.
hasn't done anything wrong, but what I will say is she understands the plight, the issue, the whatever you would call it, to where as you would have a greater understanding, especially the women that may watch this, because some of the things that she may have countered, you may wonder. And we really are just bringing things to light that people have said in private, and we felt that they were great conversation starters. And they may wonder why, after so many different things have transpired, why would she stay? So I guess we'll start with that.
I don't know how to start. That's why you got to start.
I just started it. We started with the question, why did you choose to stay after all the foolishness and all of the things that I've done?
Well, it was twofold. Blessings, Bishop. All right, so I'm trying to put this phone down just for a second. So, why did I choose to stay? There's a couple of reasons why I chose to stay. I think the biggest reason, if any, is I had to had to accept accountability for my part in what I was not doing that kind of drove you to conversate with other individuals, with other women.
Yeah, I'm going to say, you say individual.
I know, that's why I had to clear that up. Clear it up.
People don't think the speculations are true about me.
No, ain't no speculations true. Sorry, y'all.
Please let us know.
All right. Is that better?
Hallelujah.
I don't know if that's better.
Please let us know that y'all can hear us well. I need to fix mine.
think that's better. There you go.
Y'all excuse me. We have great technology, so.
Can y'all hear us? Bishop, don't be laughing.
Yeah, I guess they can hear us.
Yeah, they can hear us. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I had to accept accountability for my part, and really look at if I was being, and are you talking about as a girlfriend or as a wife? Because you had encounters with,
Oh Lord,
with friends.
Oh Lord.
When I was just your girlfriend, and then.
Well, we're talking about cheating in general because, for years I had a different view on those type of relationships. Girlfriend, girlfriend, I don't know which one to say. Girlfriend and boyfriend relationship versus married relationship. But many people don't necessarily see them different. And so with that being a thing, excuse me, I'm sorry. With that being a thing, I think we need to talk about both perspectives.
Well, first off, I was not going to give you wife privileges and you was just my boyfriend. There's certain things that you would have access to as a wife than you would just as a girlfriend. And if we look at more serious things, you've had one major health condition since you were like 14 years old.
Right.
That could have took you out. So we got married at, you were 19? No, I was 19. You were 20. So being married so young and understanding the health, the serious health condition that you had, which people don't look at it as serious as it is. And let's just be honest, it's high blood pressure, You had high blood pressure since you was 14. And back then you were absolutely 100% skinny, fit, or whatever they want to call it. And you had muscles, six pack, all that stuff. And if we look at it then, as a girlfriend, I would not have been able to reap any benefits. And then we had Malachi. You were what, 18 or 19 when I had Malachi? Yeah, I think you were 8. You were 18.
Turning 19.
Turning 19. So I was 17, turning 18. You were 18, turning 19. Malachi would have reaped benefits from you if you would have passed away, but I wouldn't have. So, those type of things you look at when you choose to be with a person. And then not only that, we talking about cheating. I'll just be honest, I wasn't 100% innocent. While you were talking to people, I was talking to people. And,
right.
They had dating apps or, what's those apps called? What's the apps called where you get in trouble? Having conversations you ain't supposed to be having.
I don't know.
Flirting apps. I guess that's what they want to call them.
They're called dating apps.
I know they call dating apps, but they don't be trying to set up no dates. They sneaky link apps.
Praise the Lord.
So I had sneaky link apps. You had sneaky link apps, and we was talking to people. And so during that time, we had our serious moments.
My God.
But I think ultimately I chose to stay because out of all of the people that I was talking to, salvation was the biggest portion. You were saved, you love God, and you were different than the other guys that I had talked to and that I had dated. And then not only that, but I had to take accountability. Which I already said, I had to take accountability for the stuff that I was doing.
3 or 4 times, man.
Because it's the truth. I mean, I was talking to people.
Oh, were you?
How about that? We was talking to people.
Because here's the narrative on that. If you're in a relationship and a man is talking to people. The women, even if the woman is doing the same thing, the woman is going to make a big deal out of it. Most men are just going to do what they're going to do and bounce if they're going to bounce, But the woman, knowing whether she's going to leave or not, is going to make a big fuss, big commotion, big thing, and, exposure to you, but could be doing the same exact thing that you're doing.
I think for us that only happened one time, where you was talking to people and I was talking to somebody. That in that particular instance, it happened one time.
Well, what would you say to the woman who is in a long-term relationship and the person haven't stopped cheating or talking to other people or whatever you want to call it? Because you also have to think about this. And I know that people ain't used to this kind of talk, especially not from preachers. But you have people who have different definitions of different things. So you have a group of people who feel like, well, talking isn't cheating, or having friends isn't cheating. But then you have a group of people who feel like, well, that is cheating, especially if the other person doesn't know that you have these friends or these other companions or whatever.
Well, I think that's the problem. So first off, you have to create some boundaries for if you are going to have outside friends. Whether they're my friends or not, I should at least know about them. Otherwise, it looks sneaky. Do I have to know every single conversation y'all have? No. But if and then I think also a woman or a man, because we need to talk about both aspects. A woman and a man need to deal with their insecurities. If you insecure, how you gonna build a relationship with anybody?
True.
And so I think one of our strongest suits, your strongest suit and mine, is we've never really had major insecurities to make us look for reasons to point stuff out. And even after being caught or situations being addressed, I don't know if I really want to say caught, but after situations being addressed, you got to be mature and have a conversation. What made you talk to somebody else? Or what gave you insight to desire to have those particular kind of conversations with specific individuals?
Well, I think, and if we be totally honest, I think there was a lot for me that was, not feeling like the conversation, or let's go here, not feeling appreciated as a man, or not feeling like the person you with. Now we talking about real stuff and things that many of them they ain't going to talk about. Or not feeling like the person that you're with is hearing you. And a lot of men, believe it or not, care a lot about conversation. And a lot of people don't really understand that or get it because they think that men just, hey, well, it is what it is. And men don't have feelings. But the problem isn't men not having feelings. The problem is that men show their feelings differently.
Mm-hmm.
And so with having...
You probably have to post it there later.
Well, I just have to make sure it's on the right Instagram because I don't even know. But with men having feelings, a lot of times because men are supposed to be seen as the strong person, the person that has everything all together and has all the answers and takes care of all the finances and provides. And so people often don't think that men need anything, which is
a lie.
Far from the truth. Because men need reciprocation. Some men are very affectionate and this kind of talk. But you know, men have needs too, and it's beyond physical. Because a lot of times people feel like men just want the physical aspect of relationship, and that's not always the case either.
So what would you say to the woman? If we put the shoe on the other foot, like what would you say to the woman as to now let me put this out there. I don't think cheating is okay. Either way it goes. Whether it's the woman cheating or the man cheating. What you think?
Do I think that it's okay?
No, I mean just what's your opinion? What do you think about people cheating or having friends? Because and you know, and we're letting you guys into some of our conversations because Long and I do not always agree on our interpretation of certain stuff. So
no, I don't think that cheating is okay. I don't think, you know, but I think that many people a lot of times have improper outlets.
improper, I like that. Having an improper outlet. What's an improper outlet?
I mean, you know, what an outlet, like a hobby or something that they feel gets their stress off, or, you know, this is a stress reliever. And I think that a lot of men, because we don't do therapy or deal with our internal emotions as men, or, you know, whatever the little boy in us, we find outlets that could be damaging not only to us, but to those that we may be in relationship with. And so, I think for me, being in what may be considered a dysfunctional family caused me to not really understand faithfulness. And, I think a lot of times people look at men, they always want to say, well, once a cheater, always a cheater. But there's also that saying, you can't turn a HOE into a housewife.
That's a nice way of putting it.
But I would say, because I don't know if they're going to flag me for saying that word. And so, but the reality is, all of those things can be turned around with the right person.
I agree.
I think that oftentimes women, I'm not to get in trouble with this statement. Women are looking for someone who is not their soulmate or not somebody they're meant to be with for a long time. I was watching a video today and they were talking about how women will go after the bad boy knowing that the good guy is right in front of them. I think for me, I became more so. I mean, I did a lot, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know if we ever going to get to it. But I did a lot, and a lot of people nowadays can look at me and be like, oh, you was a square, you was this, you was that. But, honey, you get right around the right people, they will tell you that my past ain't squeaky clean. And I'm okay with that. I don't, whatever. We all have a past. But the problem would be is if my past is meeting my present into my future. And so I think as a man, I would tell a woman that, if that man is the one for you, then for number one, only God can change them or God can turn them around. So you need to make sure that they have God or make sure that you're with somebody who cares about having a relationship with God. A lot of people say they have a relationship with God, but in reality, it's just their made-up imagination of God.
Not only that, but having a relationship with God really means nothing.
Exactly.
Oh, having a relationship with God really means nothing if he's not or she's not willing to change. Cheating to me is a outward expression of how you inwardly feel.
And I think that's the real question. Is that person or persons willing to change? Are they willing to make efforts to change? Are they willing to make strides to change? Are they willing to change? Because everybody is not willing to change. Everybody's not willing to do the necessary things that need to be done to better their lives for, I think for a lot of times we try to better our lives for someone else, but really it is being better for yourself and somebody else, reaping the benefits of the better. And so I think for me, it took a long time, but I did desire not to have so many women. I did desire not to have just that one person that
Go Buffer a lot.
is going to do that anyway. But I'm not sure if it's really doing that or not, or if it's just our phones. But so that's how that goes. Having that desire to say, hey, you the one. I don't want nobody else. And it took me a long time to get to this place, but there was a lot that had transpired. Her attitude was bad. She had desires that I wasn't necessarily meeting or willing to even meet, to be honest.
What desires you talking
I'm talking about, what people think a normal man is supposed to do.
about? Oh, yeah.
But I don't think, this is me, and anybody who wants to comment or say they disagree, I don't care. But I don't think that you should be with anyone who forces you away from your dreams.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't think that your dreams suggest stay dreams. They should be desires. And for a long time, I felt as though my wonderful wife over here did not want me to live out my dream. She just wanted me to be what you would consider, and I am not by far a normal man. I'm not a normal man at all. I'm not a 9 to 5. I'm not a 9 to 5, go to work, controlled type of man. I had to open businesses. I had to do my own thing because I don't like being, I've never have since I was a child, liked being told what to do. And I think the other thing that women have to realize is you're his wife or girlfriend, not his mama. And a lot of times women try to play the role of a mother. They're looking for another son, but being a wife, and you should, let me say this, you should trump his mama, but you're not his mama.
Absolutely.
If you're his wife, if you're his girlfriend, then you shouldn't want a man to respect you more than he respects his mom if you just girl. But if you're a wife, just didn't think of, the Bible says, leave your mother and father and cling on. Don't let go to your wife.
So we got a question. What got you to the point, though?
Which point?
Which point? The point of cheating or the point of desiring not to cheat anymore?
Please make sure you tag, like, and share. Tell somebody the conversation is happening.
We talking tonight. So, or just wanting one woman. What got you to the point
what a question.
of just wanting one woman?
What got me to the point of just wanting one woman? Well, the reality is I had to get it within myself. It wasn't even about her, but I had to realize that there were internal issues that was making me not be able to be with just one woman. There were fulfillment things that I was trying to fulfill and pains I was trying to not ignore, but cover up with a good feeling. Women became like a drug to me, and anybody knows about.
You got no water?
We do have water.
No, I'm saying you don't have water.
No, I do not. Women became like a drug to me, and so the thing about women
outlet, right,
for me was the thing about women for me where they were like a drug to me, and they were something that was able to cover up the different things, the SA, hopefully y'all know what that means because I can't say that on these platforms, and the actual assault, and it also was me trying to prove for a long time that I wasn't what a lot of people were trying to say I was, which was same-sex attracted. That's the way I'll say that, amen, which I never really have been, but because of what happened to me, a lot of people saw mannerisms and thought I was that way. But I've never had a desire for no man, still don't to this day. And I'm, whatever, but that's just not me.
My God.
I try to be careful what I say because we just started this. I ain't trying to get flagged. But for us, women became an outlet, that feeling, the adrenaline. Anybody ever did something fun, or even just going to an amusement park, it became an adrenaline like that for me. Getting caught was an adrenaline to me. I didn't care about getting caught, because it's like, dang, can I do this till I get caught? Like, you're going to get caught. But, and I think with a lot of men, and then for some men, I can't say this was necessarily my issue, but for some men, it's the mother and son relationship that they had with their mother wasn't great. My mother, as a child, we actually had a great relationship. I even had considered growing up with my mother as my best friend. And so
didn't know that.
Our relationship dynamic shifted as I got older, and so on and so forth. But then it was also, I didn't really have a man in my house. I never really seen, a father or had a father figure. And so in that case, I'm also trying to say, well, this is what I see men doing. So this must be what men do. And you always hear things saying like men ain't meant to be with one woman, or, men weren't made for one woman, or, things like that. So that stuff gets drilled in your head. And women don't realize how damaging it is for men and young boys to hear, well, men are cheaters. That's all men do. That's what men are always going to do. And if you never have vision for the person you with to be better, then that's a problem.
That's real good. If you never have vision for the person that you're with, then that's a problem.
To be better.
Okay, so if you never have vision for the person that you're with to be better. So did you compare or reach out for a woman that was like your mother or compared to her?
Not really. More probably like my great grandmother, who partially, helped my mother raise me, but she was the main figure in my life. And a lot of people don't know it, but Fran is a lot like her in some areas, especially with her go-get-itness and just feeling, at one point it was she didn't care about how nobody felt. Now, my grandmother was never, she said stuff, and she didn't care about how nobody felt about what she said, but she was very caring and loving and would give the shirt off her back. And so I looked more for someone like my grandmother more than my mother. Being that my mother was young, it was more like we grew up together. And so that, that was a thing too. Now, don't get me wrong, she was a mother. I still respected her. But, she was 14 years old when she had me. So there was that dynamic. And then all the men that I saw in my life had multiple women, but they may have had one woman staying with them, but they were not faithful. And that woman knew it, but they just did what they did, And so I think for me, there was all those dynamics. Like, I don't think that a lot of people think about how people grow up and how it shapes their adulthood and the actions that they do. And then a lot of people don't know that there are some women out here who are single mothers who don't realize that they treat their sons like they're in a relationship.
Right.
And so they may not be doing, I'm not talking about nasty, inappropriate stuff with their child, but I'm just saying they have a tight rein on them and they treat them like they're their man. And so some of these young boys' mindset is warped into that. And so they're always trying to sometimes get away from their mama. And so there's a lot of triggers that happen, you know. We try to stay away from talking about those triggers, but there's a lot of triggers that happen.
Yeah, trying to be their friend.
You know, there's a lot of triggers that happen when you have a dynamic of somebody who's supposed to be teaching you and raising you, but yet they're so attached to you that it's almost in its own way an inappropriate relationship. And let me make it very clear, I'm not saying that this is my relationship with my mother, because it wasn't at all. I'm talking about other people and people that I do know and people that I'm related to, and so on and so forth. And it confuses that man's mind as they get older.
Well, you know, I want to jump in because this seems like a bunch of questions going to be to you, which is okay because I think it's important to dive into the mind of the man to figure out, because, you know, typically, scientifically, men have the highest number of being caught in cheating, although women are very skillful.
But it's actually said that women cheat more than men do,
Well,
especially in today's society.
Yeah, today's society, but the older society, people our age and older, it was the men doing it.
Oh, women was cheating too. They just wasn't getting caught.
They wasn't getting caught. I said it wasn't getting caught. So you had asked me a question when we first got started, and I want to jump back into it, which was why did I choose to stay? So there was a couple of demographic reasons why I chose to stay. One was I had never seen marriage. And so because I had never seen an effective marriage, I wanted to see, you know, I had to take my steps to figure out if this was something that I actually wanted. That was one reason. Another reason why is because, you know, we had already had a child.
So are you saying you should stay for the kid?
No, I was yawning, sorry. We had already had a child, and I wanted to see if the behavior was going to change. Test the waters. If the behavior was going to change because we had had a kid. Because sometimes, and this is not for everybody, but sometimes children do change people. So I needed to see if that was going to change you and me. Another reason why I chose to stay is, of course, I've said it already, accountability. And then not only that, but I didn't know much. I didn't understand relationship then. You know, most people have heard my story, and you know, it's been being exposed more so now that I was abused growing up. You know, not by, not SA, but like, what is that called? What is that? Child abuse, physical, beat up abuse. That's the way I put that. So instead of regular whoopings, I had scars and stuff like that. And if you watch last week's Livewithelongs, you'll get a little more understanding on what I mean. But I believe also that, you know, it with me in your case, because let me make it very clear, the boyfriends I had before you, if I ever had an inkling of them talking to somebody else, I cut them off. But you were different. If I ever found out that they were talking to other people, I stopped talking to them. You were different. Like I said, obviously, because my attraction to you became an attraction because of the relationship with Christ that you portrayed. The relationship, you know, you were engaged in ministry. And that's what attracted me to you. And so, and I didn't really know much about the church. And so that's what made me see you as different.
Hello? We're online. We'll call you back. Sorry, that's kids. So
You were nice, you know. It was easy. You have always been easy to talk to. And that was another thing, you know, as one of the things that I understood when it came to other females liking to talk to you. You have always been very easy to talk to. Hey, you know, heck, looking at the salon, when you come and just sit at the salon with me sometimes, you know, my clients enjoy all of the conversation. It's not oh, it's a man in here, we can't talk about certain things, but you know, it's a conversation as to they hear our conversation and they want to engage in the things that we're talking about, because we don't just talk about church, but we talk about business, we talk about life. You know, I think also people cheat because they lose the friendship.
Mm.
They no longer are friends. They don't feel like their spouse is a safe space anymore.
Well, I feel like it is the friendship that, you know, outside of God, of course, it is the friendship that kept us together, because good friends communicate.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the things, now watch this, as much as there is a truth of a high level of cheating, cheating is not the major reason why relationships break up or end. It is not. People can forgive cheating, but the two things that are the highest reasons for marriages to divorce and relationships to break up is money and communication.
Yeah.
And you know, you've heard women say over time, and I've heard women say over time, that as long as he communicates, you know, there's even women who, and this is one of the reasons why we're talking about this. There's even women who say, well, you know, I don't care if he cheats, as long as he's coming home to me and he's bringing the money to me. And I think, you know, in this day and age, this is something that needs to be talked about, because it is happening in the church. We see all of the vlogs, we see all of the things that are being said and done, and these preachers being exposed, but they're not coming out and being honest. Not even with that. And I'm not saying they got to get on Facebook Live and tell all their business, but I am saying that they need to be honest, number one, with themselves, and then number two, with their spouse. And then I'm going to say this, and I know this is, you know, and a lot of these cats are with women because women look good and they like women, but they don't want a woman.
Yeah. And just to we see the number going up and down, and we do understand and know that some people are watching and not clicking on the video. If you have questions, comments, or statements, and you want us to see them and not everybody else who knows that who you don't want to see watching, that you're watching, you can go ahead and inbox a Live with the Longs page, and we won't disclose who you are, but we will respond to what your statement, question, or comment is. So
Absolutely. And, you know, so I think, you know, that's where I was. I had to start to search me out, you know, and figure out what I wanted, what I liked, because I don't want to be, and let's just deal with it. I don't want to be in this marriage 20, 30 years and decide I don't want it no more.
yeah,
And that happens quite often, because people get married young, and we did. We got married pretty young, but that's something I wanted. I wanted to be married young.
Vice versa. I wanted to be married too.
And I wanted to have kids young, because I wanted to be able to relate to my kids. I didn't want to be in some far off generation and I didn't know what the heck was going on with my kids or why things was happening. And then, you know, I wanted to have a long, fulfilled life with my wife, you know. And so I thank God that God has granted me that, but he had to grow me up sometime. And some people have to be willing.
Grow us up, and not just you.
Yeah, but I'm talking about me. I can only talk about me.
Okay.
So you talk about you tonight, I'm talking about me.
You
know. And so, you know, the reality is sometimes women, you have to wait on the man to mature, because, you know, everybody, it's said that women mature faster than men do. And sometimes, you know, men are just enjoying playing games. And it's because we haven't matured yet, or even do we know who we are or what we want. A lot of times they say women don't know what they want, but a lot of times men don't really know what they want. And it takes years for them to figure out. It is said statistically that a man doesn't really know what he wants or even who he is until he's 35.
Yeah, and that could be a long time for some women. So I guess the question for the woman becomes, number one, am I ready for that type of commitment? And I don't think a lot of women ask themselves that. Are you ready for that type of commitment? Are you ready to wait for someone to mature, especially if you've already been with them for years?
And that does not mean, and I don't mean to cut you off, sorry. That doesn't mean that they're immature, that they, but they may just not have matured in some areas.
Right.
Because, for me it was, I need to go after my dreams. I need to go after my dreams. I need to go after my dreams. I'm not getting no job. Plus, every time I would get one, something would happen and I just wouldn't have it anymore. But I was not being fulfilled. Now, what I'm doing now to me is more like a ministry. So I wake up every day. I ain't gonna say I wake up wanting to go every day, but I will say I wake up excited and seeing smiles and having people happy that I'm there makes a lot of a difference versus having jobs just to pay bills.
Yeah.
And not feel like I'm going to a place that I wanted or I want to be.
Making a difference. I think that's for everybody. You want to be a part of something where you can see that you're making a difference, especially people of our generation, some before, a little older than us and some even younger than us. If you're not making a difference, you really don't see a benefit as to what it is that you're doing. Now let's talk about that, because some people are in abusive relationships now because their spouse is a provider.
Honey, that shouldn't be no reason for you. And that's just my opinion. That shouldn't be a reason for you to stay, learn something, get a trade, figure something out. I told one of the teachers today, we were talking about the kids and how they are. And, that there are some kids that do better with me just being in the room versus them listening to women. I said, I'm not a chauvinist or am I a sexist, but there is a difference, and they were like, even in that, you can't deny that there is something about that male energy, that male presence being in the room. There's a young man, the women cannot get him to do anything. He just runs up and down the hallway all day long. But today, I had to cover his class, and they said today is the first time this young boy stayed in his class all day, never left. Has some mental issues, but there was something about my presence and me talking to him that caused him to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to listen to him. I don't know why I want to listen to him, but I don't listen to nobody else in this school, nobody, but I'm going to listen to this man.
Well, let's hit that real quick, because some women, we only talked about men cheating, for a minute, but women cheat because they felt like, or they feel as if you're not a real man. And so they are finding these outlets in men who either present or show forth that they are real men, or they are able to handle things a little more better than some men might be able to handle them. And so women are go that way. The presentation of what it is that they have to offer, they might have the gift of gab. These are reasons why women have control issues, and the man that she's with, she can't control him, and so she becomes something else. Come on, not being validated. Absolutely.
Well, I have a question for the women on here, because men are definitely more physical than women are. So do you feel, and you can answer this too, I guess, do you feel that, because men will tell you, and I agree with this, that emotional cheating is worse than physical cheating? Because if you give your emotions to another man, you can be with me, but be in love with someone else, or have You could be with me, but have desires and thinking the whole time you with me about that other person. And so do you feel that emotional cheating is worse than physical cheating?
I do believe that it is worse, but I don't think, honestly, I don't think that there's much of a difference, because if we really look at it, only HIV can happen with only one transmitter. So if you are emotionally attached, yes, that's an issue because your emotions are somewhere else. But if you are creating an actual act of cheating physically, then yes, that's an issue as well, because you can give me something or I can give you something that we could have avoided with a conversation.
Right.
But I think the biggest part of building any relationship to avoid cheating all the way around is having the conversation. Let's talk. It might not be a good conversation, but let's find what's those called, a non-biased party, and let's bring somebody else in that can help mediate the situation, that can hear what's being said without us actually saying it. These are big issues when it comes to relationships, period. And that's not just marriage, that is friendships, that is work relationships, that is mentor relationships. Those are relationships, period. Brothers and sisters. If we as people, all people, can learn to communicate properly. I was having a conversation with a teacher today because I don't know if she's a teacher. She's like a teacher support. I was having a conversation with her today because she was having a heated discussion with another teacher supporter. And their issue was as simple as, if you would have told me that it was your lunchtime, I could have came back and helped you at a later time. Communication, just talking, and maybe communication is too big of a word for some people, but let's talk. How about that? Let's talk. If we can just talk about what it is that we're doing, be honest with ourselves and be honest with the other party that we're talking to, we can avoid so much more. That's ministry, that is in our families, in our parenting, that is in our relationships with our brothers and sisters, that's in our relationships with our husbands and wives, our relationships with our friends. And then not say it to beat down on somebody else, but say it to where somebody can understand how we feel. That's what I told the teacher supporter today. I said, explain how you feel. Just say, hey, I need a conversation. I need to tell you what I'm feeling, and let you know that it's trying to build anxiety in me, that I'm not comfortable or whatever the case is, so that I don't not come to work.
Right.
So I'm going to say the same thing. Let's talk. Let's conversate. This is how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling it wrong, or if it wasn't supposed to be interpreted that way, this is how I took it. If it's, tell me so that I can see if I'm looking at it wrong, if I'm seeing it wrong, and if I am, I need redirection. But I also need your comfort and your understanding to say you're going to meet me where I am to help change the direction of where I'm going. It's perception.
But we also have to, let me go to the other side of that. We also have to be respectful to when people are not ready.
Yeah.
A lot of times we try to force somebody, especially the women and men dynamic. Men handle things differently. And so we have to also be in a place of understanding that they need some time, they need some space. Sometimes men can be like, no, we're going to talk. I've been that way for a long time.
Thank you, Angie.
Um,
She might as well be our marketing
she should have been here tonight. Our manager wasn't here tonight.
Yeah, our manager ain't here tonight.
I have to teach her how to control this system so she helps. But our country, city country, a lot of times you have to eat in relationships. I'm not even gonna say men are that way. Women can be that way too. Some women will just shut down, and you have to understand.
Do you want some water?
And be respectful to people's process. People's process is what they are, where they are, and you have to say, okay, you know what? We may not talk about this right now, but we're gonna have to come back, and I'll wait until you're ready. And that doesn't mean, because a lot of times we have a thing of being, and this is one of the things that will make people cheat. We have that thing of being mean to them or treating them some type of way. And it could be just as simple as they went to work one day and a lady was nicer to them than their wife was. Just,
or her husband.
Something simple. Or, the husband, and I know we probably wasn't going to get that. And probably more views will come in later, but we know this is an uncomfortable topic for people, especially church people. But here's the reality. You're doing it. It's happening. And you need help. But if nobody will talk about it, how can you get help from it? You're having desires that are not being met. Your spouse, male, female, however that goes, is not meeting desires, and you're having conversations with someone else who is meeting that fantasy desire in your head, rather than just being able to sit down and being a Christian and a churchgoer doesn't stop that from happening.
No, I don't.
It doesn't stop that from missing, because that is the job of you or your spouse to make that fulfillment. And we talk about communication now, because that is one of the main keys that begins cheating, the lack of communication. I think that we dealt with that in the Enrik and Fran, and she can talk about that if she chooses to, but Fran had her own version of communication, and I
Which one?
Didn't like it very much.
Oh, yelling at you?
Just, in general. And I'm the type of person, my family did not yell at me much. And
I was
did, but then she comes from a dynamic where they could be sitting right across from each other, and their communication was very loud. I ain't gonna say they was yelling, but they were talking as if they were always arguing. From an outside perspective, to them, they're having a normal, communicative conversation. This is how we talk. This is how loud we are. But I didn't come from a family that was like that. Even the gangsters in my family, I wouldn't say they were quiet, but they wasn't rambunctiously loud. And so, and of course, people like that, they're going to be off in the corner doing their thing anyway. But most of the people in my family were only loud when it came to shooting somebody or cutting them. And so to go to a fight, because I had one half of the family that's bougie, which she does too, and the other half of the family was more hood, but they were like bougie, And so they still had a way about themselves, because they, we're not gonna act like the other people act. And so being around them, and then when we got married, all the yelling and fussing. Now, let me make this very clear. I never set out to cheat or have, and when I say cheating, I'm not just talking about physical, but, because I believe that she sees conversation as that as well. And it depends upon the conversation that you're having with that individual. And so I never set out to cheat, but there was a night after she got pregnant, and she wasn't trying to appease something I desired. And she had this thing of always trying to put me out. And normally I'm fighting and I'm not leaving. But this time I said, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm not going to keep dealing with this. And you put me out. I believe it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm gone.
But how long have we been fighting?
I don't remember.
We had fought all night, because it started at like 12:30 in the morning. And I kept saying, no, 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 no.
But you have to understand this too. We were just learning biblical principles about marriage. We didn't really know how to be married. We didn't see often too many marriages. I saw maybe one marriage, and most of the other marriages that I've seen, except that one, which was my great grandparents that were married for 54 years, and they were dysfunctional, but they stayed together because the old school believed it didn't matter what you did, as long as they wasn't putting their hands on you, you stay with them.
Right.
Even through cheating, even through all of that. Now we know women nowadays I'm not saying that man did that to me. Okay, that's fine. But what are you gonna do? And here's a real question for y'all. What are you gonna do when that man become everything that you wanted him to be for somebody else? Huh?
It's totally quiet in the church.
What are you going to do? And I'm not saying that you need to stay because he's a cheater, but if you see potential in a person and you see that they are apt to change, now if they're not trying to change and you don't see no change, then you need to go. And then I want to say this: if they have already cheated, I'm about to get in trouble here now. If they have already cheated and you chose to forgive them and you stayed, you shouldn't keep bringing it up. You chose to stay. And according to the scripture, that if you chose to forgive them, then that's all null and void. You forgave them. What they did before that forgiveness is done. Now, if they're doing the same action, now that's on you. You can say something about that if you like.
No, I mean, you pretty much summed it up. Because the truth of the matter is, if first off, you can tell if somebody want to change because they're going to make the initiative to make you comfortable, and or to be willing to communicate more about the areas that they're struggling in.
Okay, well, with all the crazy stuff I did, how you know I was gonna change?
You made efforts. You made major efforts. You would, and we talk about me and you. So me and you, you would have conversations with people in front of me to make sure that I knew and understood that, you were trying to just be with me and not them also. And then I watched you block some people. I watched you, in some cases, disrespect people.
Well, I'm never disrespectful.
Oh, don't do that.
I am the nicest person anyone has ever met.
That's not the truth, 100%.
I am so nice.
So,
Don't play me, Ricky Bobby.
Well, my name got to be Ricky Bobby first. I'm Fran.
It is tonight. Because you trying to play me.
Ain't nobody trying to play you. You asked me a question.
How was I rude? Tell me an example.
I can't tell you an example on the live. The live will get shut down. You know what you be doing.
Mm-mm.
We talked about it last session with your situation with the fiance. That was a big situation. I think after that is when everything majorly changed for you.
I mean, in some ways, yeah, but whatever. But I wasn't mean to her.
That was me. You were speeding on the highway and yelling at her and telling her you didn't want to be with her.
My God, okay.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do it that way, but let's just...
That's how you expressed it to me, so...
I mean...
If you didn't do it that way, you speeding to drop her off so you can speed to come to me.
Yeah, well, that ain't mean, but...
That is mean. Y'all, what y'all think? Y'all think that's mean or not? Look, Miranda laughed. Miranda! Hi, Bookie Boo.
That's somebody who was there through a lot of those things, so... she knows that these stories are not lies. She was there.
She was there for a lot of these. Where was I at? Well, you was at home. I think I called you and I probably got dropped off at your house when you lived in Oakland.
But anyway, I'm trying to get friends start staying focused every time people comment. That's why we're gonna start recording you guys instead of going live all the time.
No, I like it better live because I get to interact with the people. This is
also a podcast, so you shouldn't be interacting with people. She's gonna get better at this because I don't know. But however, I don't think I was mean. I think I was just truthful and assertive, and I just told her what it was. That was the rest of that story from when she was talking to my friend. Y'all remember that from last week? And so that was my reaction to finding out she was talking to my friend, though I was engaged to someone else. That was I think that was the same night that the bishop got up and told me that wasn't my wife.
But I don't know about that part, but
And so it was already a lot going on, and she's in the passenger car screen. I don't know. She was on the phone. Cell phones did exist at this time, I think. And so I think I had me a little one. It was, when Metro had came up with them egg phones. If you've been around long enough, you know what the little egg phones that Metro first came out when cell phones really became a thing. But yeah, I mean, we had a lot that transpired. We had a lot that went on. But you know what? We are here. We have made it through. I think that we stayed on both ends for where we are now, and where we're going. It takes a lot. It takes a lot, and maybe we'll talk about this next week, to make a relationship work. That's why the name of this vlog is Marriage Does Work. Marriage, Live with the Longs, Marriage Does Work, because a lot of people don't realize that even at young ages, marriage can work.
yes, it can.
Marriage can absolutely work if you put in the effort. Anything worth having is going to be hard to keep.
Yeah.
Anything worth having is going to be hard work to make happen. But and I want to.
But work has to be done on both sides, not just one side.
Absolutely.
And let me say this: if you have issues and you desire to be married, then you need to start seeking some type of personal counsel now, so that your spouse doesn't have to have the after effect of what it is that you have never dealt with.
Right. And y'all keep working with us. We're going to make sure these things is together and right. But
I feel like I look like an older lady with my glasses.
I don't know. I like your glasses. I mean, I like it.
Come back.
And even for me, because there was a time she wasn't attracted to me, and there was a time I wasn't attracted to her.
I never knew about that one.
And probably in the beginning of our marriage.
Oh, I was a hellion then, so I'm pretty sure.
But I felt that God wanted me to stay. I felt that God wanted me to stay.
I was a whole hell on wheels then.
I felt that God wanted me to stay, and there was not much that I could do. I think I figured out how to work these mics now.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Well, I just think it's not meant to be projected out like that.
Okay.
So anyway, unless you're in a really, really big room. Y'all excuse me, we be having our own moments, sometimes we forget. But
You did?
yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying, I forgot.
Marriage does work. That's the reason why we have this
Lord Jesus.
label.
But we've worked through a lot. We've been through a lot of, we have literally been through the vows, through sickness and in health. The only thing we ain't hit yet is death, and it's going to be a long time for that to come. Amen.
I was going to say we've transitioned through other people dying together, but I think that's another reason why I stayed. I don't want to die alone.
So you're using me for your loneliness?
What? If that's the case, that's you too. I don't want to die alone. And when I was younger, I used to deal with depression and suicide.
I want you to go ahead and encourage the people.
Encourage the people.
Say the last remarks.
We still have like 24 minutes.
We in an hour and 4 minutes.
Right. We normally go for an hour and 30 minutes. We did last week.
No, we go for an hour.
Okay. So, I didn't got too comfortable. Anyways, I don't want to die alone. I had to take a self assessment. as to what areas I needed to change for me. Marriage will never work if you don't see growth for yourself. And if you're not willing to grow for yourself. And so you're no good for nobody else if you can't do any work for yourself. That'd be my encouragement. So in this, if you don't do nothing else in 2024, learn to better your life for you so that it will be easier to maneuver with other people. If that if that means changing the way that you talk to people, if that means considering what it is that you say and not being overly concerned on how people respond to you, if that's what it's going to take, then you need to do the work. Um, it's not about where you have been, but it's about where you're getting ready to go. And because it's not about where you've been, but it's about where you're getting ready to grow, you have go and grow. You have to be willing to do the work. Marriage is absolutely, positively necessary. It's necessary, and there are benefits from it. There are benefits. There are benefits. There are benefits for marriage. And so that, I guess, is my encouragement for you. I believe that's my encouragement for you. Benefit in your benefit in your life, prosper in your life, be encouraged in your life, and don't just be ready to be changed for any. Change is not for other people to benefit from you, but it's so that you can see and feel better about your own self. All right. So we love y'all. Thank you for tuning in to Live with the Longs. This was our segment on learning the areas of why people cheat. And so next week, tune in again at 7 p.m. for Live with the Longs. Do you know what our subject's going to be next week?
Tell them put something in the comments section or email us something they want us to talk about.
Inbox us, email us, or put something in a comment that you would want us to talk about next week. We're going to give y'all an opportunity to bring up something. We have 16 years of marriage, 22 years. 22 years of being together. And so I'm pretty sure there's something you can put in the comments that we can encourage you on. We talked a little bit tonight about financial, Long talked a little bit tonight about a financial place and why people would cheat regarding money or feeling insecure or feeling like they're being forced to do something that they don't want to do. So, with that being said, there's nothing else to hold our attention this evening. Again, thank you for joining Live with the Longs. Can't wait to chat with you next week. And have an amazing day. Please don't forget to like, share, and invite. Hopefully this live will encourage someone to stay. And not only stay, but to get some help. Find some encouragement to try and work through the areas or the issues that they might be having. All right? Holla at you, girl. Bye.